Welcome to Daily Dose Radio, a 5-minute devotional podcast studying the Psalms verse by verse. Broadcast from the ever-beautiful Sharonville, Ohio, on the sunny side of Cincinnati. Hello there, friends. Welcome back to Daily Dose Radio. Come on in. This is the finest Bible bistro on the internet. Daily Dose Radio, serving it up fresh, hot, and delicious every day, made with only 100% Bible. We're doing Bible Bistro right. And today we're in Psalm 9. Actually, we're going to be in Psalm 9 this week and next, and then we're going to be in Psalm 10 2 weeks after that. So for the next month, so starting now, which, today is going to be the 22nd of May, we're going to go probably through near the end of June in just Psalms 9 and 10. Psalm 9 and 10 at one point was one piece. And then when they divided the psalm to give it chapter and verse, they saw this one psalm and they divided it in half. Don't know why they did that, but they did. One of the things that's characteristic that's brand new is in the Psalter, at least to this point in the Psalter, is that we have our first acrostic. But this is one of those incomplete acrostics. We don't have the whole Hebrew alphabet represented in the two Psalms. We go up to about halfway in Psalm 9 and then the rest of the way in Psalm 10, but there are 5 letters of the Hebrew alphabet left out, actually. We only have 17 of the Hebrew alphabet represented in the acrostic in this psalm. And we start off with the introduction in the very first verse in the Hebrew text, which tells us that, my translation, of the choirmaster upon the death of a son, a psalm of David. Now that's a simple translation, and I'm going to stay with that translation, but let me just give you some alternative translations. My friend John Mason Neal, who I love dearly, as you know, says that he gives us some information about this. He says that the Vulgate translates this, to the end for the hidden things of the Son, a psalm of David. In the Targum, we have this, to sing upon the death of a man who had gone out from between the camps, a psalm of David. The man who goes out between the camps is understood to be, by some, Goliath. He's the one that stood between the Philistine camp and the Hebrew camp. So he's the man that went out between. And so some think that this is a psalm of David based on the events of 1 Samuel chapter 17, that upon the death of this man who went out between the camps, we have this psalm written. And perhaps, this is a good way to look at it, I suppose, because there's so much here about the wicked and the enemy in these two psalms. Talk about that as we go forward. I've said over the course of the last 4 years that what we have in Psalms 9 and 10, especially in 10, is we have a definition of the wicked man. This definition serves us well all the way through the Psalter. We can find other references to the wicked man or the sinful man and look back to Psalm 10 and say, yes, I saw it there first. Or look back to Psalm 10 and say, this is an addition to this grand definition that we have in Psalm 10. We have a little bit of it here in Psalm 9 as well, especially in verse 6. Well, I'm going to run out of time, so let me read verses 1 and 2 today. I will give thanks to the Lord with all my heart. I will recount all your marvelous works. I will sing and exult in you. I will remember your name, O Most High. This sets us up for a good thing, because we're going to talk about the enemies a lot in Psalm 9 and 10. And so to talk about the enemy, we have to begin with thinking about the Lord. I will give thanks, I will recount, I will sing and exalt, I will remember your name. So I've never lost a child. I hope none of you have either. But if you have, this perhaps is one of those occasions when you said to yourself, I must focus on the Lord. And here's what David says. If this is truly the death of a son, and we've been in an Absalom section for quite a while now, perhaps this is not about the death of Goliath, but perhaps this is about the death of Absalom, because we've been talking about him recently. I'm going to give thanks because David is dealing with the grief of losing his son. Well, remember, whatever your grief is today, the Lord stands ready to heal your broken heart. I hope you'll join me here in the Bible Bistro tomorrow as we look at verses 3 and 4 on Daily Dose Radio. Thanks for listening to Daily Dose Radio. I'm David Smith. The music today has been performed by the Bluegrass Experiment. Thanks again for listening. I'll see you next time on Daily Dose Radio.